Today I will explain you what is a solar year, because our calendar is following the sun. It means that it is following the sun cycle. And even though we have 12 months in the calendar, the months means moon, but they are not following the moon. So our calendar is completely solar calendar. How many days have one solar year? It has 365 days, but it's a little bit longer. It has 5 hours and 48 minutes and even 46 seconds more than just 365 days. So let me explain you what that means. Not many people knows that actually one solar year, it's not that the Earth goes one round around the sun, but it's measured from the solstice again to the solstice. And this is not really one round. It's actually 20 minutes less than one full around the sun. So what are the solstices and equinoxes? We have 2 solstices and 2 equinoxes. And I am surprised that many people still today they don't know what solstices and equinoxes actually are and how you can see them with your eyes in nature, how you can follow them. If you live in the northern hemisphere, like I do, then this is the winter solstice, the shortest day in a year, and this is the summer solstice, the longest day in a year. The 2 equinoxes are the days when it's equal. Day and night are equal. So the winter solstice on the northern hemisphere, it's the beginning of the winter season. We have winter and then spring, and then this is summer solstice, the beginning of summer, and then autumn equinox, beginning of the autumn. So how do we know that it's 365 days, 5 hours? Okay, of course today we know because we have astronomy very developed, but in ancient time people also knew that because you can actually see, you don't need to have a watch and to measure when is the shortest or the longest day in a year. In ancient time they didn't have a watch, so how did they know? Because in nature you can see the position of the sun is different. In the sky at midday, it's on the summer solstice, it's very high. On the winter solstice, it's very low in the sky. On the equinox, it's in between. Or you can see it from if you observe sunrise or sunset. So the position of the sun, like when it's rising on the sunrise, it's not always the same. So this is one solstice, this is another. So it goes every day like this for 6 months and then 6 months like this. The sunrise and the sunset as well. And the equinox, it's when it's in between. So this is how people, but you need to observe always from the same position because these things are really, really small. It's a small change, but still it is enough so that people could mark those places where the sun rises or sets, and this is why they build temples to align those temples to those places so that they know when to start to count a year, or from here or from here. Later also they start to come from here 1 year, so they go 1 round and then when it comes back it's 1 year. And they discovered that it's 365 days. Of course, how did they realize that it's 5 hours 48 minutes longer? For this was taking more time because you don't see this in 1 year. But if you count 365 days, for example, for 10 years, if you keep counting the calendar, if you have a calendar of 365 days, after 10 years, it will be much shorter because the actual year it's much longer. So you will come to the solstice again, but actually the calendar will finish, but the solstice, it's not come. The sun didn't come to the position of the solstice yet. So it will take several days after 10 years to come. This 5 hours, almost 6 hours will accumulate. So this is why today we are adding 1 extra day almost every 4 years because of this. So basically a solar year, it's measuring a time from the beginning of the season, which is a solstice or equinox. 1 year is until it comes again in the same beginning of each season. So it's a seasonal solar year, it's a seasonal year. It's also called a tropical year because it's measuring seasons. And those markers are the beginning of seasons, the solstices and equinoxes. So it is not because, why do we have these seasons? Or, even better question, why on the northern hemisphere it's summer and in the same time on the southern hemisphere it's winter? Why it is winter solstice on the northern hemisphere, but in the same solstice in the same time on the southern hemisphere is the opposite, it's the summer solstice. Why? Because of the angle of the Earth related to the Sun. The Earth is shifted like this. The Sun comes, the rays of the Sun, the heat and the light of the Sun always come from different angle. And that is why we have a different duration of the day, of the sunlight during the whole year, a different. But now let me show you this to understand a little bit better. So let me show you like this. Imagine that this is the Sun and this is the planet Earth. Of course, these are not the real proportion. Of course, you know, Sun is way bigger and the Earth is way further from the Sun. But just let's see the angle. This angle is correct. This is why every globus is standing like this. It's not standing like this. You see, the north, it's not up straight, but it's always pointing to some position like 23 degrees further from the Sun. So now you see from this angle, this is the winter solstice on the northern hemisphere, because the light comes here much less than on the southern. You see, there's a lot of light coming here on the southern hemisphere, so that's why it's the summer solstice or the summer season. It's hot. And on the northern hemisphere, it's cold. It's winter time. So when the Earth goes around the Sun and comes to the other side, it's always pointing there. The north is pointing there, right? So it's not like this, it's like this. So now it's the opposite. Now the northern hemisphere gets more light and the southern hemisphere less. So on the northern hemisphere it's now summertime and on the southern it's winter time. And when this happened in the most extreme position, this is called the solstice. And when it's here, then it's equinox, and here also, this is 2 equinoxes, right? So here the light comes the same on the southern and northern part. This is why it's equinox time. It's the same duration of day and night. 12 hours day, 12 hours night, no matter where you are on this planet. And same when it comes here. It's also the equinox. Equinox is always the same time. It's just we call it here, we call it autumn equinox, and here we call it spring equinox. But it's always the same. It's 12 hours day, 12 hours night, no matter where you are on the planet. And it's the same, should be the same climate. Of course, the climate is also affected by the micro things. So it's microclimate also. This is why we have different climate, and of course depends where you are on the planet. If you are around the equator, of course it's hotter than if you are on the southern or northern hemisphere, more south and more north. Now this is the interesting part. When the Earth is here, it's the solstice, right? Winter solstice for the northern hemisphere, for southern hemisphere it's the summer solstice. But when the Earth is going around like this, around the Sun, next time when it comes, it will be 20 minutes before. The solstice will happen 20 minutes before. And every year, 20 minutes before, it will go like this. Because, so I will show you here, all right? So 20 minutes, it's very, very little. But it will take for the whole round that this solstice come all the way, the whole round around the Sun to come to the same position, the solstice, it will take around 26,000 years. And this we call Platonic year. So why is this also interesting? Because the solstices and the equinoxes are moving in this way according to the stars, of course. So for example, the equinox, it's in the position of the planet Earth during the equinox, spring equinox, it's now here, not here. So what is the difference? This is called precession, right? Precession of the equinox. What is the difference? The difference is that if from the Earth, if you observe at the spring equinox, that means on the 21st of March, right? So if you are born 21st of March, then it means in astrology you are Aries, right? So from this position, if you look which kind of constellations were behind the sun, you will see that, I mean, it should be Aries, but it's not Aries anymore. This was when the Earth was here. It was about 2000 years ago. Now it's here, the equinox. So now when you observe the sun, what is behind the sun on the equinox, it will be not Aries, but it will be Pisces, right? So, and actually it's in the end of Pisces, so we are slowly entering into the Aquarius. This is why people says now it's the age of Aquarius. And that is due to the precession of the solstices and equinoxes. So I hope you like these explanations, and I hope you understand about the solstices and equinoxes and the solar calendar. And in the next session, I'm going to talk about how this Gregorian calendar was created from the lunar calendar to the solar calendar. And by understanding this, we will understand how almost every calendar in the world was created, because they all use the same principles. They all observe the lunar cycle, the moon cycle, and the sun, the seasonal cycles.